How y'all doing? I'm Anthony Boykins. It's Tony Franklin Boykins. This is part two, conversation about the death of Leden Boykins, 12-year-old boy who was killed by the Georgia State Patrol September 10th, 2021. Um, I guess we'll start this part off by asking you, Tony, if you could if you could explain your story to any audience in the world that you wanted to, how would you start it and why?
Um, I would start it with I hate to say it because it can't happen, but that Leden should be here today um with me. I feel I'm very hurt and I'm angry um because I don't understand why it's taking so long for us to get answers on what happened to our son, why did it happen? Really, why did it happen? And it didn't have to happen. And it's hard for me today. It's been hard since day one, but it's hard for me today because Lita would have been in the eighth grade. Next month is going to be even harder. And it just seemed like as time goes, it's going to get harder and harder um, because of the waiting period that the parents have to go through when things like this happen, especially involving the police. Um, People not wanting to get involved because of it involving the police. Um, you have people out there who take the police stand and think that the police does no wrong. Um, and it hurts because in this situation, there was no reason to do this pit maneuver. I have yet to feel like there was a reason for this to happen. Um, if you never gotten a license from a person and you ran a tag, you still don't know that tag gives you information on that vehicle. And I don't understand why they just didn't take the information that they got from the vehicle. First of all, they didn't even pull the car over properly. Um, for somebody to have to pull to go down different streets to see if someone is following them and pull over and then realize that that is the cops. And then the cops walk up on the car and they ask you for your license and not tell you what's the reason why you're getting pulled over is an error on their part. For one, um, the police is out here frisking people and pulling people over, and um, people walking down the street and asking for ID and not telling the person what is the reason for their actions, and they're getting away with it. Um,
I think the problem with his case is I think the police overreacted, and what you said was very important because they essentially, they like you said, they didn't tell him what they pulled him over for. However, at the end of the day, they explained to us that it was a traffic violation. Speeding is what they said. It's not what is in their reports, but we'll get to that at another time. I said that to say they essentially sentenced this man to death for a speeding ticket. They decided they was going to kill him for a speeding ticket. And what a lot of people don't know is the officer that did the pit maneuver and flipped the car, the state trooper that flipped the car, is not the only person that hit the car. Departing county sheriff's department, two of those cars had already attempted a pit maneuver. If you listen to the radio call, you hear one of them say he has in car trouble. He not gonna be able to catch up with y'all. You see what I'm saying? He had car trouble because he banged into that car trying to flip it over. So, and here's the thing: they're saying it was a flag over the window. That's what they said on the phone call. On the news, they said it was 10 on the window. In their report, they said the flag was hanging out the window, so they couldn't see the kids. But you got 3 police cars out there. That means there's a minimal 3 officers out there. That means there's an officer at least 3 windows. There are 3 people in the car. You see what I'm saying?
And
So they seen
one of the officers stated in his report that he cracked his window open and he stuck the flag out the window and asked for his license. So the flag was stuck out the driver's side window.
which
So
means
Sergeant,
it couldn't have been on the window. It couldn't have been on the back window.
which
Like
Sergeant
what?
Cavalli said, it was covering the flag was covering the back window so they couldn't see Leden. And that's not, it's not true.
Right.
They stated in their report that the flag was stuck out of the driver's side window when he cracked the window and asked for a supervisor. And Officer Unc Myers stated that he grabbed that flag and threw it on the ground.
And let's be clear about this. We didn't go to Georgia thinking that the police did something wrong. When we got there and realized that nobody had contacted my mother-in-law, nobody had tried to contact the family. She said on the phone that she got a number for Tony and she called it and couldn't get through. But Tony never mentioned that anybody with a Georgia number tried to call her. And you know, I think you'll hear in the tape how they slid us back and forth between agencies. What a lot of people don't know is that we still to this day don't have our son's cell phone. We never received his property. We never received a courtesy visit from the police. You know, so that alone is alarming. That already looked like they trying to hide something. It looks sketchy because under any other circumstances, you're going to the house of the person that was killed and speaking to his loved ones about the situation that took place. Why did we deserve that courtesy? And then, like you said in the last tape, they don't speak about Leden as a victim. They actually distance themselves from us as if we were the criminals, like as if we did something wrong. You know what I mean?
To this day, they don't consider Leden as a victim.
And then we find ourselves asking a lot of questions about why he was in the car. But the thing is, there was a decision made. He was able to ride with the neighbors. Okay. The gentleman he was riding with was not, and y'all keep that in mind, he was not in the act of committing a crime. Think about all the people that do these mass shootings and stuff and then end up going to jail. They don't try to kill them. Yet, here you pull a man over for allegedly a speeding ticket and sentence him to death on the side of the road. Like, you know what I mean? And I think the reason why we kicking up so much fuss is because it's not fair. It's not fair that y'all making it seem like Leden was on the other side of the law or we are on the other side of the law. It's not fair that your investigation has come to a conclusion and you found no wrongdoing on the part of the police department and all the evidence is sitting right there in your face.
And
That's
you ain't tried to share no information or give out any information. You concluded an investigation and didn't include a family that lost their child, their son, their brother, their uncle. You didn't include us. You haven't called us to this day to say what your findings is of why this pit maneuver was done on the car. I don't care about what time it happened or where, what people say. I read comments that I shouldn't have read. And I wanted to react to them, but I chose not to because they were ignorant comments. It doesn't matter where they were going and where they were coming from.
Yeah.
That don't give them the right to just feel like, hey, let's pull this car over and see, what's going on. Well, we bored today. Let's try to pit maneuver on this vehicle.
Right. Well, so what if he was riding with me, his biological father, at 1 o'clock in the morning? What if we're coming from an aunt's house or anything? Does that justify the police trying to kill me for speed? And does that justify them flipping the car over? Here's what nobody's asked. Did the police even try to see if the kids were in harm's way? Did they care?
No, because they never mentioned it in the reports that they initially wrote. They haven't mentioned anything that warrants for them to do the pit maneuver other than saying he was uncooperative because he asked for a supervisor and didn't provide you his license. That made him a threat.
And that's another good question. What's illegal about asking for a supervisor? Did he deserve to get his windows broke out because he asked for a supervisor? Because he's not pulled off yet, mind you. He's still sitting there waiting for the response to the supervisor. You see what I'm saying? And they start breaking out his windows. Is that is that fair cause? Like, this is actually rogue police work. They're actually upset that they're not getting their way and they're throwing fucking tantrums and it cost my kid his life and they're walking around like ain't shit happened. Ain't nobody been made to say, hey buddy, I'm sorry for your loss. Not even that. Sergeant Sabalas said it in the phone call and I'm praying for your family and nobody want to hear that shit at that time. We want to know what happened and why y'all being so uh why y'all not being transparent with the family? Why we not getting the courtesy that any other family would get from the police?
And he wanted to remove himself from the situation because he said that he actually said he pulled up on the scene after everything was done. And for him to sit there and say something about the young man sitting in the front seat, and
Being
he's
taller
a
than him.
short man. No, we don't care what you look like or what your height and weight is. For you to sit there and try to compare yourself to a child, to say that the person in the passenger seat didn't look like a child, and
Now,
you
mind you, you talking to some people who just lost their baby. You sound like a goofball. Tony, I'm gonna get into this call with the GBI, which is gonna lead to the call with the Paulding County coroner. Anything you want to say before I start these tapes?
know.
Crime Lab. Please listen to the following selection so that we may route your call properly. If you're a representative from a law firm or an insurance company requiring a crime lab report, or if this is a public case inquiry, these requests must be submitted through open records at 404-270-8527. If you're calling to schedule an autopsy or wish to speak with a medical examiner or investigator, please press 1. If you're in law enforcement and are calling about the status of a case, medical examiner's office, how may I help you? My name is Anthony Boykins. I have a 12-year-old son that was killed in an accident involving Georgia State Police. I have not have received a phone call. Nobody's visited our home. No detectives talk to us. This happened Thursday night, Friday morning, maybe 1 o'clock a.m., 2 o'clock a.m. What county did the death occur in? Paulding. What county? Paulding County. Paulding? Yeah. Okay, you have to reach out to the Paulding County Coroner's Office. I've been misled or something. I was led to believe that you guys have the body of my child. What's your child's name? His name is Leden Boykins. Spell the last name, please. Boykins. And the first name? Leden.
Just one moment while I look up this case. Yes, it looks like all information will have to go through the Paulding County Coroner's Office. Would you like the phone number for Coroner Lindsay Eberhardt?
I would, please.
Okay, again, the coroner's name for Paulding County is Lindsay Eberhardt. Her telephone number is 404-623-9440.
Okay. And one more question. Who do I contact about discussing the matter of the case? I don't know. Nobody's given me. I just got off a plane today. Nobody's told me what's happened or nothing. They just called me and told me my baby was dead.
Yes, sir. The coroner, she's the one who's responsible for all deaths in that county. So she will be the point of contact for any and all information.
Including the information about the police activity and everything?
Yes, because they're the primary investigator for the deceased. So they will be able to answer any questions for you because really she's supposed to get in contact with the next of kin and notify them of death if the hospital has. I don't know if this person went to the hospital, but typically it would be either the nurse, the doctor, or the coroner who would make contact with the next of kin.
Okay. Nobody contacted us. And did the body get released to the GBI, or does Paulding County still have it?
The GBI would do the examination. However, we wouldn't give out any information to anyone except the coroner.
Yes, but wouldn't the parents at least have the opportunity to identify the body before the body is just passed along?
Whenever we get a case, the coroner, it's their responsibility to handle identification. We're just responsible for the examination at the request of the coroner.
Okay.
I'm not sure how she would have made ID. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
They told, I can't hear you.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
So in the coroner's report, she wrote that David Peterson was told her that the descendant was in the vehicle with an adult male and another adolescent, meaning that he knew about the kids. She said the trooper attempted to stop the vehicle near Garmin Road. The driver stopped, but then looked off and the chase ensued. So
hold up, stop right there. There go another lie. Looked off and then the chase ensued.
That's what Peterson told the coroner.
Go ahead.
She said the state trooper did a pit maneuver to stop the vehicle at Highway 92 and Indian Trail, resulting in a significant crash. A descendant, Leden12, was ejected from the vehicle and sustained significant head trauma, and was possible lumbar injuries. EMT transported the descendant to Kennestone Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 2:10 a.m. She was informed by the state trooper and the nurse at Wellstar Kennestone that the driver of the vehicle is not being cooperative with the authorities and would not give any information. I'd like to say back in that video, they tried to say that Leden was staying with the neighbors. My mom was here at the house. So even by us being
He had permission to go hang with the neighbors. He was
he had
staying.
permission to go. And when something happened, if they would have went to the house, they would have had somebody to talk to. But they never went to the house. They never reached out. They may have reached out to me, but at 2:30 a.m., obviously I was asleep and didn't know what was going on. But my mom was there sitting on the steps the whole time waiting for Leden to get home, under the impression of the last time she spoke to him and him saying, Granny, I'm almost home, which literally he was almost home. They weren't
Far from the house.
not even shoot. Would it take my 8 minutes
Five,
to get up
5, 6 minutes. Yeah,
5 minutes to get up the street?
yeah.
So and for the officer to get behind him and follow him in the beginning, if it was a speeding ticket, why did you turn on your lights then? Why did you wait till he pulled over and then you pulled over behind him? Then you turned on the lights, and that's when your dash cam started. And we're waiting for dash cam because although I'm not ready to see it, I want it to be released because it's gonna tell a lot about what happened. They
Definitely.
considered this officer as a victim because he stated one time that his foot was ran over.
And that's
But
why they don't. And let me touch on that before you. That's why they don't consider our son a victim, because they consider the officer the victim, and that's why we reaching out to y'all like this, because that shit ain't right. No way that officer is a victim. Those officers are rogues and thugs. They went to breaking them windows out, and that boy pulled off like any other person would do on a dark night in the backwoods. The police get to breaking your windows. You got kids in the cars. You finna sit there? And I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
I don't understand why the coroner she just talked to anybody, because also, and this is the report that she stated that she got a call from a cousin named Sandra. We don't have anybody in our family named Sandra. We never had anybody to talk on our behalf. Why would we have somebody to talk on our behalf when we didn't even know what the heck was going on?
And what was the Sandra supposed to have said?
She's helping. She said that Sandra supposed to have been a cousin who stated that she was helping her family and the descendant's mother was having a difficult time. Sandra stated that Tony Franklin was making arrangements to come back from Michigan, but she was authorized person to take information for Tony until she returned. I informed Sandra that Leden would be taken to GBI headquarters in Decatur, Georgia for an autopsy. I called Sandra on Saturday at approximately 3:30 p.m. to inform her that the autopsy was complete and we needed the information from the funeral home. If I'm not mistaken, we were back in Georgia before 3:30.
On Saturday, we had already talked to her. We talked to her on Saturday. That was and we'll look at the recording of me and her. In fact, let's play that, because what did I just play? The GBI. Yeah, let's play our conversation with her and see if the time stream is on the phone. I'm sure it's on the recording somewhere. I can go back and find out when the video got recorded. But before 3:30, I had talked to her, so she didn't. There was no Sandra
Yeah.
necessary. She was, and we had never. We don't know a Sandra, and she didn't say that Sandra went to the hospital or came out there. Nobody still told us who identified Leden's body and who signed the paperwork. But let me play this record. You got something to say before I start this video? I'm sorry.
Now she stated that she spoke to you around 6:40 p.m. and 7:07 p.m. again. And where she told you where the whereabouts of where Leden was.
That's okay, because I got both of those phone calls recorded, so we'll listen and see if she said that she stated that the whereabouts of where Leden was. What else did she say? Because in her text message to me, she said, "Remember, I told you that your son's body was available to be picked up." And this was after the lawyer got in contact with him and asked him why they was holding the body hostage.
Yeah.
So
She stated that she said, again, I told him the whereabouts of his son and communicated the next steps for the family regarding the funeral home arrangements. I was contacted Monday on 9:13 in the morning by the family's attorney. I told her that we had communicated with the family all weekend and we needed the funeral home information. She stated she would be meeting with the family and calling me within the hour with the information that evening. I sent a text message to Mr. Boykins reiterating that Leden was ready to be released and we needed the funeral home information as we had not received it.
Reiterating, but she said she did. Now her text message said, "As I told you on the phone," but we got both of those calls recorded. So let's go ahead and get to this video.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
Is this the Paulding County Coroner's Office?
this is.
My name is Anthony Boykins. I'm calling in reference to a 12-year-old boy who was killed in a police accident Friday morning, Thursday night. I've spoken with the GBI. They're telling me to get in contact with you. You should have the information I need.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Hello? You said,
Hello?
yes. I didn't hear.
Hey, sorry. I said, who'd you say you were, sir? Because you cut out when you were talking to me.
I'm Anthony Boykins. I'm the father.
Okay. Yes, sir. My name's Lindsay Everhart. I'm the coroner for Paulding County.
Okay.
Can you hear? And he is actually at the GBI. He underwent an autopsy examination.
Why would the GBI be doing an autopsy on my baby and I ain't even got to identify the body? He only got two parents, me and his mama. We both here in Georgia right now. We have not seen that body. Why would they cut that baby?
Yes, sir. We have to do that because of the situation. Because in Georgia, he's under 18 years old, and it was an accident situation involving potentially something that's going to result in criminal charges. And so that was part of the law that we had to report the death to them, and they are the medical examiner's office for our county.
Okay, I have another question, ma'am.
It was definitely not an accident.
I haven't heard from a detective.
Intentional.
Nobody's knocked at the door. Nobody's called a phone number. Nobody's gotten in touch with me or my wife about my son. We have all kind of people calling you guys trying to get information for us. But normally, and please understand what I'm going through. But if a boy gets shot dead in the street, the police show up at his parents' house and then say, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, your son was murdered." Nobody gave me that courtesy, and I'm trying to understand why the body is moving around and ain't nobody even came and talked to the parents. Not even attempted to.
So the trooper that was on this case, his name is David Peterson. He's with the Georgia State Patrol. He's the one that I spoke to. I was notified by the hospital because he was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced deceased. So the troopers and the police and all of them were working the investigation, and they gave me a phone number for Tony, and I tried to call that number, but I was not able to reach anybody. And we were told that she was out of town, and that your son was staying with this gentleman, and he was not giving any information to the police. He would not talk to us. He would not talk to anybody. So a part of this might be just, trying to get in touch with everybody because they haven't had a lot of cooperation. But I'm more than happy to give you the information for the Georgia State Patrol because they were the ones that worked the accident.
Well, here's the thing. This call started with the Georgia State Patrol. They said that they would call me back, never called back. It went to the GBI, who then directed me to you, who is now directing me to the Georgia State Patrol again.
Okay, so the way it works is that we are in charge of his body. We are in charge of making sure he gets to the medical examiner's office. The medical examiner determines who needs an autopsy and who doesn't. In this situation, they definitely felt like he needed to have an exam done. And so the Georgia State Patrol are responsible for the scene and for all the investigation and for all the stuff that happens from here on with the person that was driving this car. So that's a collective effort with them and the Paulding County Sheriff's Office. So I can only give you so much information about that because that's not the area that I'm in charge of. I can tell you what's going on with him as far as your son. I can tell you what the next steps are, and where we're at with things on that end. But as far as what's going to happen here, as far as the person that they have in custody and where they're at with that, I don't have any of that information. I'm not involved in that.
So if I were you, who would you talk to?
I would talk to the trooper at the Georgia State Patrol. I could even call and get you a captain if you'd like me to do that, since you didn't receive a call back. I know these guys are on different shifts and they work like 12-hour shifts and things like that, but everybody's got somebody over them. So I can call and get that number and call you back with a number where I can definitely put you in touch with who will be able to direct you and give you stuff so you don't keep getting passed off, because I know that's frustrating.
Well, can you please do that? Please?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Be glad to do it. And I'm sorry that, we haven't been able to get in touch with you guys. I do want to make sure, is this a good number for you so that in the future we can use this number? Because the one I have for Tony, I wasn't able to get through on.
Yes, this is a good number to contact me on.
Okay. And I will give you a call right back. Let me call the post and let me find out who the best person to talk to you is, and somebody that's there now, so you don't have to wait like till tomorrow or Monday. And I'll get them to give you a call, or I'll call you back and give you their number too.
All right.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I know you're disappointed in the fact that there's not a lot of support, there's not a lot of cry out, not a lot of people know about this case. And like I mentioned in the last video, it didn't reach major news networks like CNN, things of that nature. It was only local Georgia news that talked about it. I just hate the fact that they act like they ain't did nothing and they're not responsible. And my honest opinion, they're trying to hang Mr. Moore because if they get a guilty conviction on him, then that exonerates them of murdering Leden, which they've spoken too many times and changed their stories too many times to be exonerated.
And they mad that he not saying nothing, which usually is what you're told to do if in any situation you get pulled over and you feel like something ain't right about this. I mean, I don't blame him for not saying it, not talking to the police, because
Yeah, let me be clear about something. I'm not happy with this guy for the decisions he made or anything like that. But I am not mad at the man for not speaking when he's not supposed to speak. Not lynching himself. Like, of course, initially as a parent, I was upset, but listen to the 911 tape, to the man calling the people and telling them there's kids in the car. Would y'all back off? Like, and he was saying this while they were hitting his car. They were hitting his car while he was on the phone with them saying this. Like, shit is wild. It's wild that they're trying to sweep this shit under the rug and just let it go quiet like it never happened. Like it's just gonna be a case that whatever happens to Mr. Moore is the end of their part of this. That's not what I believe in.
and it shouldn't. I know it does, but it shouldn't take this long to receive some type of answers from somebody. Next month will be a whole year that it went by, that our baby been gone, and we still don't have any answers. Um, we have some people out there fighting for us, but it's not enough. It's not being heard. His case is not being heard, and I feel like his case, to some people, it don't matter.
No, it don't. It's all.
He's not in the political. It's not something that has to do with politics. So his case doesn't matter right now.
Talk about that. Talk about the fact that you feel like because he didn't get shot, that
Yeah.
nobody is speaking on the fact that he got killed by the police. And this is a baby. This is not a grown man who had a decision in this process. This is a 12-year-old who was actually just a passenger in the vehicle. And, He's definitely not guilty of committing a crime or doing anything wrong. Yet he was killed by the actions of the police. The police didn't like hit the car once. Like I said, 3 different officers attempted a pit maneuver before they were successful. So their intentions were to harm somebody. And I have video footage of the actual uh, accident scene. I'll show that in another video. But yeah, I have footage of the accident scene and where it happened at and how tight of a space it was. And it was actually construction, because they're building a highway ramp over there. So it's actually construction. So there's actually a concrete wall on this side of the road and a ditch on this side of the road. There's no soft spot. Somebody's going to get hurt. So their intentions was to hurt somebody, for a speeding ticket though. Yet you cowards never, like I said, the serial killers, not the serial killers, what I mean, the mass murderers that shoot up everything, they get to go to jail unless they kill themselves, commit suicide, or suicide by cop. Wait till y'all run in the room and point a gun at them. But outside of that, y'all take them to jail. No lumps on their head. You know what I'm saying? We in the hood. These kids go home with lumps on their head. Y'all bumping these kids up. Yet somebody, shoot up a parade or a school or, and y'all try to arrest us. The dude that bombed that shit in Boston, the marathon.
My thing is that they actually have dash cam, and that dash cam has yet to be released. I'm seeing all these other cases and things happening, and you see a video come out on the news of what took place. And I don't get why this is not another situation. Why, if there's dash cam, he
Yeah,
stated
and I
he
keep
stated
hearing.
he stated in when he was talking to 911 that they didn't turn their body cams on, so they knew what they were doing when they didn't turn on the body cams. But when they turned those lights on after he pulled over, that I'm not ready to see it, but I feel that it should be released.
And that means that there should be dash cam from 3 different vehicles. So you'll see and any other vehicle that was involved in the pursuit, but you should be able to see every time they attempted the pit maneuver. And they knew it was kids in the car. And if he had his lights on when the man pulled over and he pulled behind him and the lights came on, then the dash cam came on from that point on. And you'll be able to see how they moved around the car and if they knew it was kids in the car. Is that from what I know, when you get pulled over at night, you could be in the car by yourself. The police check every seat of that car to make sure ain't nobody in there that could cause them harm. So, you know what I mean? Y'all got 3 cops out here. Why wouldn't y'all check every seat of the car? Why would y'all tell us that y'all didn't know it was kids in the car? What's the purpose of that?
They
You see
said
what I'm
that,
saying?
but then they also wrote in the statement that they observe all the occupants in the car. So
Exactly. So, and here's the thing: if you tell us one lie and everything you say is a lie, how are we supposed to believe you? You know, that's how I feel about it. How are we supposed to believe you if you tell us one lie? If you tell us that you didn't know it was kids in the car, and all the evidence points to the fact that you lied about that, then what else what are you lying about? What else are you withholding? How do we know that your story is the true story?
and
So
why is it that the people that was involved aren't speaking? The person, like the corporal, Savalas, he's speaking on something. Why he had the officer to tell his story? Why the officers didn't write their own statement? I have yet to see. The statements that I have is from Sergeant Henson from Paulding County, and Unc Myers, which was the senior officer that was in one of the cars directing another rookie officer.
And he wasn't a
Wherever go.
corporal. I listened to that tape again. He was a sergeant, and what he said was that Peterson was on administrative leave. Well, and if y'all know what I know, that means he got a paid vacation while they investigated. But they found no wrongdoing on the part of the Georgia State Police, and then there's no wrongdoing found on the part of the Portland County Sheriff's Department. There's no grand jury investigation, from what I've been made to understand.
I've been made to understand that they don't even want us to see Leden's case. They don't. They don't consider him a victim. So the attorney general, they don't even want to.
Yeah, our attorney attempted to reach out to the attorney general. He didn't want to talk. Yeah, yeah. A 12-year-old boy get killed, and then it's supposed to just go silent. Not to mention, with all the shit that's going on in the country, a 12-year-old black boy get killed by some white cops, and don't nobody say nothing. This shit never makes CNN. What? Let that dash footage get released.
And then, from my understanding, he took off running back to the police car, not limping, like full speed. I don't think we haven't heard anything about him going to get checked out, because if he would have got his foot checked out, then they should have ran some reports on him and checked to see
Yeah,
was
he
he
should
on
have
some.
X-rays and everything. They should be, you know what I'm saying? Never heard nothing about the officer
Because he didn't go.
having an examination or anything like that. This is just a lot of shit that was made up, and you really have to look. You really have to listen to the story to understand, and then you have to know about the county. You have to know that Portland County is, for one, they I've seen them hide a murder. I've seen them murder. Our neighbors got killed a few years ago. One of our neighbors got killed by his wife. You can't find this shit on the internet anywhere. It's not in the newspaper. There's no articles. I've never seen it on the news. We were looking for it, searching for it up and down. I know he got killed because she was outside crying like somebody came and did something to her. And we actually went in there, me and my neighbor went in there and seen the body. Came back out. We didn't know that she did it till they put the handcuffs on her. But it
Yeah.
was a white woman and a black man. But this shit never made the news or anything. So this is what they do in this county. Make it seem like it's all good because their population is growing and shit like that. But wrong is wrong, man. If I do wrong, y'all motherfuckers make me pay. Why the fuck they ain't gotta pay? You know what I'm saying? They killed my boy. Period. That's how I feel. Shit, that's the end of my conversation. I don't even want to. I'm getting a little. It's finna be up there, and I'm like you said, it's finna be a year and 1 month. September the 10th, it'll be a year, and we ain't heard shit.
And
Nothing.
when you ain't, if you and you ain't never been involved in this situation, you don't know what the steps are to take, or what we should know and what we shouldn't know. Um, I mean, we're investigating
Like we the fucking police or something. We gotta, that's why we on here. We gotta do this shit. Um, Thank y'all for watching. Thanks for the views, the likes, the subscriptions. Please like and subscribe. Uh, I'm at Anthony Boykins, Anthony.Boykins on Instagram. Tony, what's your Instagram?
justice for Leden.
Justice for Leading on Instagram. I'm Anthony Boykins. That's Tony Franklin Boykins. Thank y'all for viewing. And we'll be back. We still got more footage to show. We got more videos, and you'll be able to put the whole lie together and see why we so, on fire, why we disapprove, and We want to see a fire lit up under their ass. Y'all have a blessed one.